Well, there's actually a book, AA Cult or Cure, and Charles Buffet analyzes the ways in which AA is cult-like. In many ways it is. When you go to AA, you're required to announce that you have the characteristics of the group, and to the extent that you deviate from the group, you're chastised and compelled to acknowledge that you do have these traits and these behaviors. Now, I should say that some people claim that's changing. Some people claim, and there are better and worse chapters of AA, and that's the one way that Charles Buffet pointed out that AA is not a cult. It does not have a central hegemony who determines how every chapter should act. Chapters are very loosely organized, and they can differ tremendously, and it's conceivable you can even find a reasonable one if you are lucky enough and you find some individuals that are collegial. However, the basic dynamic of a group that demands that you acknowledge 12 steps, acknowledge your powerlessness, and display other characteristics, it does have a lot of psychological coercion. There's a strong presumption that people are going to all endorse the same statements. There's not good room for people to deviate, to say, I do have a drinking problem, but I just don't think I'm an alcoholic. I'd like to think about this in a different way. For example, maybe just cut back my drinking. It's just not constructed to allow that kind of freedom for individual members.
Why is that?
Well, it's somewhat the nature of the group, somewhat the nature of all groups that are organized that way. People who have undergone an experience and are very wedded to that experience tend not to be very flexible in how other people approach the same experience. They tend to demand that they endorse the same bromides and the same truisms that they acknowledge because they feel their own lives depend on it. So they're not there to discuss, they're not there to be open-minded, they don't have the freedom to be that way.